I've robbed the bank. Now how do I escape? I know. Ambulance, roll out. So yes, I saw the movie Ambulance, Michael Bay's latest film, and it was alright. Now before I dive into it, just a quick spoiler warning. If you want to go in it without any prior knowledge, you might want to stop this video now, go watch it, and come back. Anyway, basically, the story is about Jake Gyllenhaal and his brother. They grew up together. His brother's sort of an adopted brother, and they were both raised by this very infamous bank robber, and now Jake Gyllenhaal robs banks as a profession, but his brother decided not to rob banks but to go into the army. But now he is having a son and his wife needs knee surgery and he doesn't have any money, and the US is not very good at helping out soldiers once they come back from the war, so he turns to a life of crime. He turns to his brother, who he asked for a loan, but his brother's like, instead of giving me a loan, why don't you help me rob this bank and you get a lot more money than what you're asking for? And at first he's like, no, but then Jake Gyllenhaal's persuasive, so he ends up doing it, and all hell breaks loose. All their teammates die, and they are forced to escape in an ambulance with a shot cop and an EMT. And basically the majority of the film is them just driving around in the ambulance as a bunch of stuff happens as the cops try to stop them. And eventually the cartel gets involved, the police captain dies, an FBI agent who knows Jake Gyllenhaal from college is trying to capture him, and then I won't spoil the ending, but it's pretty basic plot as you can follow along. They rob a bank, they have to escape in an ambulance, they find trouble escaping the ambulance, but then ends up something happens in the end. I'll let you go watch it. So I don't really mind the story. It was kind of simple, and why I say it was simple is because I feel like they use that as an excuse to make really poor editing choices and do really wacky camera movements. I feel like with this movie, Michael Bay just discovered what drones were, because he had shots flying all around, but then they were doing flips and going upside down and going down the sides of buildings. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a headache just watching this. But then what was even worse was the editing was 2-second clips max, 2-second clip of Jake Gyllenhaal yelling, but then while he's still yelling, we're watching 2 seconds of the LA skyline, and then 2 seconds of just the road, and then 2 seconds of the ambulance. I'm like, why you keep cutting away from stuff? I want to see stuff. It was like when you watch action sequences in action movies and you can't tell what's happening because the cutting's that fast. That was the entire movie. It was, except for the last couple of scenes where everything was drawn out, long slow-mo shots. I'm like, oh my gosh, now you let me see what's actually happening on screen. Other than that, I actually really enjoyed the acting. I think that all the characters were really complex and very interesting, and I really enjoyed watching that aspect of the film. But just another thing that I didn't like was the soundtrack. I feel like maybe I just forgot that the soundtrack was happening, but to me it seemed like they forgot that they were supposed to put music in a movie until about 2/3 of the way into the movie, and they're like, oh crap, we need music. So then they played 2 songs back to back, and then they just stopped playing the songs again. I was like, what is going on? I kind of want to revisit the Transformers movies after seeing this, because I remember liking the Transformers movies, but now I'm not so sure why I did, because if this is what Michael Bay does, I don't know. So I'd like to, I might just watch the Transformers movies again and review them as a second viewing type thing, but that's a side note. Anyway, what's the rest with the ambulance? Anything else? The way things were shot, as I said, camera movements were questionable, but other than that, it was pretty nice looking shots. It wasn't anything too stunning like the shots in Dune per se, but it was alright. The action, the special effects, practical effects. I mean, Michael Bay is known for its explosions. Not a lot of explosions in this film, but I did enjoy what he was able to. There was a lot of crashing and flipping cars, and that was pretty neat. So I think that was pretty cool. But honestly, I was expecting more explosions from Michael Bay, but I'm glad it wasn't just a bunch of explosions all at once. So yeah, with that, I think all I have left to do is give this film a rating. I'm gonna give it a probably middle of the road 3 out of 5 toilet paper rolls. Thanks for watching.